Hey everyone, whenever you have a great question, that little spark of curiosity, the next step is trying to find the answer. Well, that whole journey, it always starts with data. Today, we're going to break down the different kinds of data out there because picking the right type, that's the bedrock for everything else you're going to do.
I mean, just think about it for a second. You get that spark, right? That one burning question you just have to figure out. That's the fun part. But really, that's just the starting gun. The real race to find an actual, meaningful answer, well, that begins with the very next choice you make.
And yeah, that next choice is this. The kind of data you decide to go after is going to shape your entire project. It decides what methods you use, what tools you need, and ultimately what kind of answers you can even hope to find.
So, you can basically think of data as living in two totally different but often connected worlds, the quantitative and the qualitative. Picture them as two different languages you can use to describe reality. One speaks in numbers, and the other speaks in stories. And here's the core difference. Quantitative data, that gives you the what and the how much. It's all about numbers, things you can measure objectively. Qualitative data, on the other hand, well, that's where you find the why and the how. It's all about the context, the description, and yeah, this subjective human experience.
Okay, so let's dive back into this world of numbers for a minute because, and this is super important, not all quantitative data is the same. There are actually different levels of precision, and knowing the difference is absolutely crucial if you want to analyze it correctly. So let's zoom in on quantitative data for a sec. This is pretty much anything you can stick a number on. We're talking about stuff like test scores, how many people clicked on your website, or when you answer a survey and rate something on a scale of 1 to 10. It's solid, it's measurable.
Qualitative data, though, that's where the story lives. It's about the richness and the depth. Think about the full transcript from a really deep interview, or the detailed notes a researcher takes while observing something. It's the amazing descriptions people write in those open-ended survey boxes. It's the story behind the numbers.
You can almost picture these four levels like a ladder. Every time we climb a rung, from nominal all the way up to ratio, our data gets more powerful, and we can do a lot more with it mathematically. So, let's break down each one of these rungs.
So, starting at the very bottom, we've got nominal data. Honestly, this is the most basic level. Just think of them as simple labels or categories, like car colors, red, blue, green, or blood types like A, B, and O. There's no order to them. Blue isn't higher or better than red, it's just different. So, starting at the very bottom, we've got nominal data. Honestly, this is the most basic level.
Okay, take one step up that ladder, and now we're at ordinal data. Here, the order actually starts to mean something. Think about customer satisfaction ratings like poor, good, and excellent. We all know that excellent's better than good, but here's the catch. We have no idea if the gap between good and excellent is the same as the gap between poor and good. The spaces aren't equal.
Climbing up another rung, we hit interval data. Now things are getting interesting, because here, the spaces between the values are equal and meaningful. The classic example is temperature, in Celsius or Fahrenheit. The jump from 10 to 20 degrees is the exact same jump as 20 to 30 degrees. But, and this is the key, there's no true zero. 0 degrees Celsius doesn't mean no temperature. It's just another point on the scale. That's why you can't say 20 degrees is twice as hot as 10 degrees.
And at the very top of our ladder, the gold standard, we have ratio data. This has everything interval data has, those equal gaps, but it also has a true, meaningful zero. Think about it. 0 height means no height. $0 in your bank account means, well, you know what that means. Because 0 means a total absence of, you can make real ratio comparisons. Someone who's 6 feet tall is truly twice as tall as someone who's 3 feet tall. This is as precise as it gets.
All right, we've climbed the number ladder. Now let's totally shift gears and jump back over to the world of stories. Qualitative data is just so incredibly powerful for getting that rich human context that numbers can so easily miss.
And, just like with numbers, qualitative isn't just one thing. There's a whole family of approaches. For instance, narrative data is all about piecing together a story, like in a deep case study. Ethnographic data, on the other hand, is about immersing yourself in a culture to understand its behaviors from the inside. They're all designed to capture lived experience and even build new ideas from the ground up.
So we've got our numbers on one side and our narratives on the other. But you know what? The real magic, the real breakthroughs, they happen when you bring the two of them together. The absolute best research almost always uses both to paint the full picture.
So picture this. You run a customer survey and you get these results back. 75%. Excellent. That's awesome, right? That's your quantitative data, and it's telling you what happened. You're obviously doing something right, but what is it?
And that's when you dive into the qualitative stuff, the actual comments, and you find gold like this. This person's feedback doesn't just back up the high score, it explains it. It tells you exactly why they were happy. Now that's an insight you can actually use.
And this isn't just about customer feedback. This happens everywhere. Take medical trials. Researchers will track super precise ratio data, like the exact dosage of a new drug. But they also collect narrative data from patients about their side effects, their energy levels, their quality of life. One tells them if the drug works on a biological level, but the other tells them if it actually works for the human being taking it. You absolutely need both.
So, just to lock it in, let's do a super quick review of that quantitative ladder. Remember, we climb from simple nominal categories up to ordinal ranks, then to interval data with its equal gaps, and all the way to the top with ratio data, which has that true zero. Just keeping this little chart in mind is so helpful. Okay, we've gone through a lot here. Qual, quant, all the levels. But if you remember only one single thing from all this, let it be this next part. This is the guiding principle for any project you ever work on.
It's this, right here. This should be your golden rule. Always start with your question. Don't just grab the data that's easy to get. Instead, force yourself to ask, what do I really, truly need to know to answer this? And then let that answer guide your choice of data.
So as we wrap this up, I want you to think about that. Your next big idea, your next burning question, it's out there, waiting for you. And now you know the tools. You understand the different languages of data. So the only question left is, which one are you going to choose to listen for the answer?